Some heroes and villains from comics are so powerful that even they have to hold back. A few could destroy cities just by losing control, while others live every day afraid of what happens if they don't. Today, we'll look at 10 characters whose biggest fight isn't against an enemy, it's against themselves. If you enjoy stories about the most dangerous powers in comics, make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment with your favorite moment of pure chaos, and subscribe for more. Trust me, some of these names will surprise you. Spider-Man can lift cars and bend steel, yet Peter Parker holds back in almost every fight to keep people safe. He built his own web shooters, and the web fluid melts away in about an hour, so the city does not stay wrapped up. His spider sense lets him stop before a strike goes too far, while fast healing keeps him moving. Even when magic tilts his mind, he aims for control over force, because power without judgment breaks what he swore to protect. In Superior Spider-Man, Dr. Octopus inside Peter's body broke Scorpion's jaw with a single punch and was shocked by the strength Peter hides. Peter treats each swing like a choice, not a reflex. He measures kicks, pulls punches, and lures threats away from crowds. He could end fights in seconds, but he values mercy. In chaotic events like Contest of Chaos, he still finds ways to spare friends, even when a spell pushes him to do the opposite. Radioactive Man, Dr. Chen Lu, was made to be a living weapon. His body emits dangerous radiation, so he wears a suit that keeps others safe while he fights. He can shape many kinds of radiation and even drain it from foes, which makes him a problem for heroes who rely on energy. He is also a scientist with a PhD, so the calm planning behind the green glow is not a trick. The risk is simple to grasp. If he slips, a whole district can burn. Against Thor, Chen showed how scary he can become. For a moment, he bent the Thunder God back, proving the suit is not just for show. On teams like the Thunderbolts, he often moves fights to open areas to spare civilians. When his output spikes, he has to lock himself down or be locked down by others. He can power up a site when stable, yet he can also poison a city when shaken. Each battle is a tight lid on a boiling core. Thor is not only a hero, he is a storm with a name. Mjolnir is forged of Uru, near indestructible, and Thor uses it to fly by hurling and holding the handle. He shrugs off illness and lives far longer than men, yet he keeps a human heart for Earth. When talk of the Superhuman Registration Act rose, he made it clear that forcing a god into a file could spark thunder over a nation. That warning was restraint as much as threat. In clashes with Hulk, Thor often pulls back to shield the city around them. He can call lightning that cracks mountains, but he would rather move the fight than risk a street full of lives. He has broken cycles like Ragnarok and channeled star power, yet he knows when to hold. Against mortals, he fights with care, choosing control over pride. Even Tony Stark has stepped aside, knowing that trying to leash a storm can end in ash. Superman is strength under control. He once lifted what was called the weight of the world and stood firm against kaiju-sized beasts and Darkseid's machines. He can unleash a super flare that empties his solar battery in one burst, but then he is drained for a full day, so he saves it for last. Magic can hurt him, and kryptonite still cuts deep, which keeps his pride in check. The power is huge, yet the choice to spare is larger. Lex Luthor tried to match raw force with cold plans, even cloning the Man of Steel to find an edge. Yet copies miss what matters. Clark chooses who he is, every second. He moves planets in one story and whispers comfort in the next. He could end many fights with one hit, but he thinks first, asks what outcome saves the most lives, and acts. That is why friends trust him and foes fear his ceiling. The limit is his will. Captain Atom is a walking reactor inside a silver shell. The suit is not a costume. It is the lock that keeps his energy from spilling out. He can tap fission and fusion, redirect blasts, and feed a grid when stable. When focus slips, the field around him can rip open and erase a city block. Military programs built his path, and more than once he has served on Justice League lines as both teammate and risky asset in the same scene. A simple illness once wrecked his balance, and the blast leveled much of Kansas before the League contained the fallout. That event became the lesson that follows him into every issue. Calm is not a mood for him, it is a shield. He trains to breathe slow, to think clear, to move fights skyward or far from homes. If he pushes too hard, reality bends and people die. If he holds, the world keeps its lights on for one more night. Hulk is raw power in motion, and anger feeds that power with no clear cap. He has cracked a world, flattened Las Vegas, and leaped across vast lands in one bound. His hide shrugs off shells and fire, and he can breathe in space for a while. Banner knows one breath can turn a street into rubble, so he fights to hold the beast in. Each calm thought is a lid on a storm that wants to break free. When fear rises, he tries to leave before fists speak. In Planet Hulk, the Illuminati sent him off-world to spare Earth, yet on Sakaar he became a champion and returned even harder to stop. The Avengers have had to dogpile him to slow the damage, as shown in Hulk Smash Avengers. Banner still sets limits, pushing fights into empty zones and taking hits to save bystanders. With versions like Grey Hulk and Devil Hulk inside, restraint is not a trick. It is the only way to keep cities standing. Ghost Rider burns with hellfire that sears body and soul, and Johnny Blaze fights to hold that fire back. He made a deal with Mephisto to save his father and ended bound to Zarathos, a spirit that wants judgment, not mercy. The penitent stare can crush a killer's mind with the pain they caused. Even his frame laughs at bullets and blades. Each night, he fights the urge to punish until nothing is left. He rides a burning bike and wields chains. In World War Hulk, Johnny tried to stop the rampage, but the spirit pulled back to avoid a wider judgment that could torch a whole city. Even Doctor Strange saw the risk when the rider let the fury rise. He can cross miles in a blink, roar through space, and drag a sinner to their knees with a stare. Yet the real test is choosing when not to burn. That choice keeps streets standing and the guilty alive to change. He chooses control to save lives. The Sentry is sunlight in human form, and that light can blind or heal. Robert Reynolds holds power that rivals God's, yet his mind is a thin bridge over a deep drop. To keep the world safe, his past was erased from memory, and he was locked away underground, a hero treated like a hazard. When the void stirs, every heartbeat feels like a fault line. Control is not a theme for him. It is survival. He can reshape matter, fly fast, ignore heavy blows. In Siege, his power shook gods and cities, proof that one bad minute could drown the world in shadow. He often stays away because showing up at full force could break minds and skies alike. Friends ask for help but set limits, knowing the void waits for cracks to widen. So Robert sets rules, anchors his thoughts, and picks small targets. When he chooses restraint, whole nations sleep through the night. That is why records were erased and locks remain. Scarlet Witch bends chance and reality with chaos magic, turning maybes into facts and wishes into worlds. Wanda Maximoff once built a life from grief, creating children and a new order to fill the void in her heart. As a Nexus being, she sits at a crossroad of the multiverse, so small mistakes can echo everywhere. Her power is not only a spell, it is a hand on the rules that keep everything steady. Many fear her because one word can save or end. In House of M, she remade the world, then pulled it back, and the words, "No more mutants," cut powers from most of her kind. After that, Wanda learned to slow down, to test, to ask for help before a spell shifts the ground. She can transmute matter, read minds, and pull new paths from thin air, yet she weighs the cost first. Restraint here is mercy on a cosmic scale. One soft breath from her can move mountains or keep them still. Choice matters most. Matthew Malloy was an Omega-level mutant so far beyond the charts that Cerebro flagged him as a unique threat. As a child, Professor Xavier locked his powers away to stop a disaster before it began. Matthew could bend space, erase matter, and twist energy without meaning to. He might shift a city by accident if fear spiked. For years, the only safe path was silence, a mind sleeping under careful keys. He could warp energy and teleport by reflex. When Xavier died, the locks failed, and Matthew's power flooded back like a broken dam. He erased a city in moments without trying to. Grief and fear poured into raw force until even the X-Men saw that no cage could hold him. He was stopped not by a punch, but by time itself, a reset that erased the threat. His story is a warning about power that never should wake. The lesson is clear. Sometimes control means not to act at all, for everyone's sake. That's it for today's video. These characters prove that the hardest battle is sometimes keeping your own power in check. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more comic stories every week. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.